Hello, good evening. If you're in the live chat, do come and say hello. I have no idea if you're watching otherwise. Now it says there's 11 viewers, but I can't see anybody in the chat window. I'm not sure actually whether it's streaming or whether this has just been a complete and utter pain in the proverbial. So if you are watching and you are in the chat, do say hello. Yeah, it's very quiet. This is weird. I'm not sure whether it's actually work. Go on, give us a message if you're watching. Just a simple hello will do. Hey, well there we go. We've got live. Ray is watching. Hello, Ray. How are you doing? Whereabouts are you in the Are you in the UK or are you all over the place? David Pike, Tim Cooper. Hey, Tim. We've got at least 3 in here now. It says there's 21 watching. So you're either all very shy or you're all still eating dinner. I don't know. Anyway, today I'm gonna have a look at making some sort of a style. Because one of the things that I like is sort of gentle, easy listening, sort of relax, sort of styles. And whilst there are sort of lots of free play things in here, there isn't a lot of sort of modern, what I would class as modern dance. Hey, Ray's in the Netherlands. Do we do? Steve Castle, hello Steve. Hi Tim. Obviously we've got the little group of people watching. So I've been fiddling around, the only way I can describe it, with a style. And this is using, in the Genos 2, you have this trap kit, which is a great set of drums that hardly anybody uses. And there's of course all these...
Watch it. Clap your hands.
Clap your hands, yeah. Okay.
Put your hands up. Come on.
All this crazy stuff. But in here there's some nice finger clicks. So using that particular drum kit, I've come up with a sort of minimal rhythm pattern. And it's incredibly easy to make a drum pattern with a style creator. So of course there's a low piano in there that's literally just playing a very low note. It's actually 1 octave lower. So it's playing that in the background, and you can hear it in the style. Just put the style back on. Obviously the rhythm pattern carries through. Would you like to know how to do that with this style? Oh, hi, Suzanne. Hi. Well, welcome to the impromptu video. Can you play the music from the movie Gladiator? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I'll do that in a short while because I just want to show you the sort of thing you can make yourself. That's exactly the same pattern, just with some sort of strings added. National Drone Services. Are we advertising here for you? National Drone Service. If you want a drone, go to National Drone Services. Actually, is it for drones, or is it a telephone number where married men sort of ring to talk about their wives? So that's just adding some strings to that sort of basic rhythm, and then variation C. The strings kick in a little bit higher. And of course you can choose any voice that's in your Genos. There's so many different sounds in this amazing instrument. And then for the finale on variation D, it gets a bit thicker. So the sound builds up from variation A. But this is all using this incredible trap kit that's in the Genos. Do many of you actually go in and have a fiddle with styles and use the drums and all the stuff in there? Renee Milgin. Hi all. Hi Renee. Synergy World, wonderful podcast. Hi from Germany. Hello from Germany. How's the weather today in Germany? I mean, you can play this as background music while I'm talking to everybody. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see from the Genos? Obviously, somebody's already said Gladiator movie, so that's fact. Oh, look at that, another Lee Buxton. Hello, Lee. Where are you, Lee? Are you in Buxton? Very hot 32. Oh my word. Keep it there. We do not want 32 degrees over here. We do not. That is too warm. So, you're all watching Solihull way, not far from me. Well, there you go. Who'd have thought it's Solihull? Is there anything in particular you would like to know or not like to sort of hear from this? Again, sort of nice string sound. Put a piano on. Anyway, let's go and have a look at something else. Let's go into one of the movie and show. Just trying to think. Oh, hang on, we have a comment. The sound from the Genos is wonderful. Far better than my Phantom 07. My wife will kill me if I buy another one. I'm in Harborne, Birmingham, by the way. Oh, hello, Birmingham. Well, you've obviously missed a trick there because you simply don't tell the wife you've bought another one. Wait till she goes shopping and then sneak it in through the back door. That's what everybody else does, I think. How long do you think it will be before AI accompaniments are with us? Imagine being accompanied by a real-time AI band or orchestra. Steve's laughing. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend, Steve. As for AI, I've played with some of the AI stuff, and there's no AI behind it at all. It's just repetitive. It throws something at you and then just repeats. And there's not an infinite number of patterns that it can generate. So eventually it will just come back to the square one again. This whole AI stuff in music, no, absolutely not. I don't like it. Don't like the idea of it at all. Because ultimately, where do you stop playing? You know, is it you or is it the machine or what? I mean, at least with this, you know what's machine and what's not. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the whole music industry. It's so quiet out there. But this thing just never ceases to amaze because you sit down and you think, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try that. And of course, don't forget, Steve, that your Phantom isn't an arranger. So that's not going to ever tick the box for this sort of thing where you can just pick a backing and then play live with it because your Phantom's always going to need programming or some sort of a MIDI file. Whereas with this, I can just sit down and sort of say, well, okay, I want to throw in some sort of a choir just for the sake of, and put in an R. And within seconds, Steve says he looks like he's going shopping. Yeah, well, like I say, just make sure the wife isn't with you. Just tell her you've got a leak and you're going to have to go and get out some piping or something. I don't know. Come up with a credible story. But anyway, there is so much of a difference between an arranger and something like the Phantom. I've got a Phantom 7, and I love the instrument. But it's not really something you can just sit down as a single performer and play on because it's got nothing to draw you in, no accompaniment. And I don't like using MIDI files because I think MIDI files are just downright cheating because it's not you. Whereas with this, I can just sit down and, noodle away. Renee says, how do you find the right style for a song? Well, it comes kind of with practice, either that or sheet music, because the older sort of music books used to have like ballad, pop, Latin, samba, and again, it's listening to the dots and hearing the music and sort of thinking, well, hang on a minute, if it's a ballad, I'm just going to go into my sort of pop category and pick something like a ballad. 90s big ballad. And 99% of the time you'll find something within a couple of minutes that fits. And again, the categories in the style on the screen, you can go in and pick rock, pop, dance. So if you wanted to play some I use the dance term very loosely with this because these are all very old sounding styles. Nothing on here is modern dance at all. Yeah, and some of it's absolutely dire. So there you go. So that's kind of how to find what you need. National Drone Services was thinking of gigging but not taking out the Genos 2. I was thinking of a cheaper keyboard. What would you recommend? I really don't. Genos or Genos 2. If you want to spend a lot less, buy a Genos, normal Genos. There's loads knocking about second hand for about £1,500. It's still more of, I would class as a powerful instrument than an SX920. The Genos Originals has many of the items that's in here, and to be brutally honest, apart from the sound changes and the changes to a little few screens, there's not a massive difference. So if you are on a budget, then Genos. If you've got a little bit extra to sort of spend without the wife knowing, then then go for a Genos 2. It's the only real instrument I would recommend. Everything else out there either has issues in terms of there's bugs, problems. This is the only instrument that I can safely put my hand on my heart and say it works. So if you are thinking of changing to a different arranger, Yamaha still, even now, are leaders. There's nothing that will touch them. Absolutely nothing that will touch them. So yeah, have a look. I mean, I always have to say, try it yourself. Don't simply do not just go out and buy one off cuff, because that's the biggest mistake anybody can make. You can watch all the reviews in the world, but they mean nothing because it's not you sat at the keyboard. So I've made that terrible mistake so many times, seen demonstrations from people who make something sound wonderful, and then you get it delivered and it sounds like, and you just think, no, this isn't for me. It's too much. The one thing I will say for this, if you are thinking of looking at changing, then it's a doddle to play. It's one of the easiest instruments you will find. You think to yourself, okay, let's play some jazz, and you've got loads and loads and loads of styles you can choose from. Let's go 40s big band leader swing. So it set the rhythm up, and if I have no knowledge of voicing or no knowledge of what I'm doing, which 99% of the time is the case, press number 1 on your OTS and it will set up your voices for you. Number 2, number 3, number 4, and you're away to go. It's as easy as that. Hello, Graham P. From Wigan. Somebody's got to live in Wigan. No, Wigan's got a pier, so it's officially a very nice place. How you doing, Graham? I hope you're well. So everybody who's in here, is there anything else you would like to see or hear? Obviously, the idea of this is to sort of just let you have a little sort of look around. Ideally, as I say, the best thing anybody can do is sit down and have a go at one of these. Always the best option. And there are some what I would class as golden sounds in here, that's one of them. Things like, for example, the flugelhorn is, and again, I can just go into my mixer, and if I so wish, I can add some more reverb. Your PA1X takes 3 weeks to boot. Yes, I know it does. It's got to be one of the slowest things ever. This is booted up in about 10 seconds. You're probably up to go. Hey, Joe. I'm sorry, I'm not good on. Haley, always a good job. Cheers from Portugal. Portugal, fabulous. Wow. Yeah, Alan Russell says 10 seconds. And you're on. By the time the Korg's booted up, you've had dinner, managed to go out in the car for a little bit of shopping, and then you come home and it's powered up. So that's another one of those sort of go-to voices. The guitars are incredibly good. Really, really nice sounds. Wow, says Lee Buxton. Yeah, it's really good. This is probably, I say this all the time, this is my favourite go-to voice ever. In all the instruments I've ever owned in all of the years, this one voice fantastic sort of shadow guitar. Yeah, Renee's just said that the PA5X takes more than a minute. Yeah, it does. They're all starting to run on computers, and this is the problem because you've got to wait for the damn thing to boot. Verzi were the worst manufacturer because, of course, that runs on Windows. So by the time it's gone through all the systems set up and everything, you probably lost the will to play, and then you just turn it off. And that's assuming you can turn it off. Shadows, yeah. Yeah, you can do all that sort of stuff with those sort of voices. So you can do all those sort of things. Your sounds are very clear. How do you manage that? That's a good question. The keyboard is running from here straight to the computer. There's no mixer. There's nothing like that in the way at all. This is just straight out of the back of the keyboard, and this is how it sounds if you buy one of these. And the SX920 is exactly the same sound quality. Yeah, it's just Yamaha. There is a big noticeable difference between the sound from the Genos and the Genos 2. The Genos 2 is, I could only class as a keyboard on steroids because it sounds so much bigger than the Genos, and I don't know what they've done, don't know what they've thrown in there, but there is definitely something that makes the keyboard sound bigger than it is. Alan Russell says, when you learn to use the Genos as the foundation for the piano, bass and drum, or any chordal instrument, the world awaits you as an arranger. Hand it over to a door. The one thing I will tell you is this does not play nicely with a door. In fact, I wouldn't ever consider using this with a door. It's just, yeah, it's a nightmare. It's not good at all. So I wouldn't recommend trying to MIDI it up to a door because it doesn't work like any other instrument. Whereas I can connect the Phantom or even the Montage and 16 channels go out and makes all sense. This thing's all over the place. So I do not recommend that. Werner Jürgen. Hello, Werner. Hello, Lee. Always great infos from you. Thanks. Absolutely any time. For the tiny handful, and it is a tiny handful of problems that you sort of face with this and a computer. Apart from that, everything else is absolutely just wonderful. It's a great bit of kit. I just wish Yamaha would make this thing talk nicely and communicate quickly and nicely with things like Logic and Cubase, because even with Cubase it's an absolute nightmare. So there you go. Alan Russell says, stop using AI to do all of the human work. Faking shortcuts is not going to teach you. Exactly, it isn't. And we're going to end up with a load of button pushers, and that seems to be quite common anyway. The number of people that I know who make music, and it's like, push that one, and push that one, and push that one. That's not my idea of playing, is using these white and black things. So I do agree with you, Alan, and when you've got something as good as this, then you can do anything you like, really. Any other questions? We've got 31 viewers live currently, which is quite an achievement considering it's this time of night, and I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. Right, let's go back and have a look at some more of those great sounds. In actual fact, one of the ones I use a lot. That's the concert tutti, and they've got concert trumpets. So that's a fantastic voice to use. Let me just let's see if I've got something going on here. You just hate it when you get a notification and you can't see what it is. Where are we? Yeah, there we are. Anyway. Right, so questions. Any more questions? Be intrigued to see what else comes up. Again, if you want to make it piano, just turn off the accompaniment bottom at the bottom. That's the new character grand piano. It's funny because when this came out, that piano I used morning, noon and night. Because it's got that sort of hunky sort of sound. But then the novelty wore off. So I'm back to... back to the pure sound, and I much prefer the CFX to that. That's got its place in certain songs and certain sort of recordings, and then you've got the more pure. Hey, it's Lanzarote Steve. Hey, nice to see you, my friend. Are you still in Lanzarote? And if so, what's the weather like out there at the moment? Now, one of the things I did on a tutorial a couple of days ago, in actual fact, not on here obviously, but was to mix 3 pianos together, and the arrangement was the concert grand on right 1, and then on right 2 was to add character grand. Now you see how it gets thickened? And then the icing on the cake was to bring in the electric piano, I think it was DX Dream Bells. And that's a fantastic sound, especially if you're going to put it with, I think it's a movie and show on page 5, is it? Yeah, Broadway production. course, I need to adjust the volumes as well, which is... There we go. And always, when you mix two or three different voices, just make sure your reverb settings are... That's nicer. And of course, the thing that seems to be drowning this style, if you listen, there's always some sort of string in the background. So if you go to channel and turn off the pad, there you go, you've got room to breathe. These strings just smother everything. So turn the strings off. I'm just going to quickly save that into a registration. So go into your channel setting and turn off the strings. And that gives you a much, much wider sounding style, because you've not got that sort of droning noise over the top. Yeah, absolutely. Alan Russell has said Genos cannot handle sophisticated chords. Yeah, of course it can. That's not a weakness at all, Alan. I'm sorry. This thing will handle any chord you play at it. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. This is one of the few keyboards, in actual fact, that I would quite happily say, no question. I know the Ketron got confused. I know my chord got confused. Even the Wurzy, in fact, the Wurzy was terrible. But this handles any chord combination you want to throw at it. It's phenomenally good. I'm going to have to dispute that one, my friend. So, three voices together give you that sort of, I call it Disney sound. It's very... Sorry, I just realised I missed Robin's message there. Followed you on YouTube for a while. Love your improvisations. Always intrigued by your knowledge in chords in the left hand. See, there you go, Alan. You can throw any chord at this. So, yeah, Broadway production is a very good style, but there is one slight issue. And to be fair, this is one of the, I would say, not problems, but it's one of the things that I've noticed with Genos too, is some of the style parts tend to sort of drown everything else. For example, the strings, which I've just mentioned. But if I go back to the variation A, you've got this. I mean, it's great for the song it's intended for, but it's useless for anything else. So go into channel and get rid of it. So now we've just got the bare bones, because I don't want that in my particular song. So you can always take parts out very, very simply and very, very easily with the channel control. The other thing, I don't, if you've not sort of seen a Genos, the electric guitar section is out of this world. And the number of effects that you can sort of go in and change and play with is scary. If I just quickly tap on here, you can see that this is, in fact, can you see this? Yeah, you can. If you see the effects that you can select from and the different types of effect, there's just absolutely ridiculous number. So you've got small stereo, and again the graphic changes. But I can change things like the type of speaker, the type of microphone, the presence, all the controls that you would be able to arrange and control with on a normal guitar and speaker. It's all available here, so you can do all of that on there. I'm just trying to remember which one. I think it's called Multi. There we go. Look, that's the one. So using this, you can create so many different types of guitar sound as well. So it's a great bit of kit to make your own guitar sounds. And of course, you got things like blues and all that sort of stuff in here as well. Marek says, my first keyboard was a PSR 4600 in 1990. Today, Yamaha sounds... To be fair, probably in 1990, your 4600 was still probably the best sounding instrument out there. I'm just trying to think, because 1990... Was the 4600 the one that had the big roll bar at the front? It had a long sort of bar, like a tube in front of the keys, and you could move it forwards and backwards to pitch bend. Am I thinking of the right one? Because if so, that was a fantastic instrument. Struggle today to find a decent style for a song. Mandy, as in that one. That Broadway production. That would work. Perfect Broadway ballad. There you go. National Drone Service. What is your name? I can't keep calling you National Drone Service. Sorry, what's your name, National Drone? At least I can then call you Dave or Bob or whatever. Thomas66 says, can't believe I never looked at the guitar effects yet. The guitar effects are just amazing, and you can recreate any kind of guitar sound. Go into your electric guitar and pick one, so Rock Hero for example, and then go into your mixer, go to your effect, and just tap the where it says distortion below the guitar, and then you can pick from different categories. You can have EQ, you can do wah-wah, you got things like Britishly Drive. And these are just the presets when you highlight them. And if you come out, then it takes you to the graphic for the actual effect itself. So you can change things like that. So you've got type. You can adjust the treble. You've even got speaker type. You can hear the sound changing as I turn the dial. I mean, that's really crunchy. So if you're going to go down the route of looking for something that does great guitars, this is the one. So there you go. I can't believe I never looked at the guitar effects. Let me just have a look. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Another rabbit hole. Oh dear. Hello Patricia, how are you doing? Haley, can you tell me how you get CFX grand piano to sound as you do? I think it's probably down to the effect, Patricia, because when you call up the pianos, 99% of the time they are very just... My reverb actually is already preset, because one of the things I do is make sure I lock the effects in my Genos because I don't like the presets that call up with the registrations. So, quick tip, call up your piano, then go into your effects and your reverb and change it to something that you like. Now, the Genos 2 Revelation Cathedral is just stunning. I used various different other effects in here, and the Cathedral one, because you haven't got to put a lot of it on, but it has such a nice, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if you want to add a bit more sort of magic, as it were, go to the EQ and increase your high. And the other thing that I've found by talking to other Genos players is a lot of people play with continuously kind of the same pressure. And the problem that you're going to have with that is your music is going to sound very robotic, very MIDI file. So you have to really put a lot of emotion into the playing. So you don't sort of play everything bum, bum, bum. You sort of play gently, and then when you need to emphasize certain notes, and that gives you all the layers of the control for the piano, and that's what I do. Hello sir, says Ryan Andrew. I've never been called sir before. Is it possible to record a VST audio like Native Instruments directly into Genos 2 or SX900? You can record it as an audio on top of an existing if you wish, but you're doing it the wrong way round. You'd actually be better off recording the Genos into your computer and then layering the VST over the top, which is what I do. If I want to make a recording with additional samples or some particular voices, I'll record the Genos performance into my computer and then layer the VSTs over the top. So things like the Native Instruments strumming guitars and all that sort of thing that you want to add. Make sure obviously the MIDI from the keyboard is synced in terms of tempo. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't play nicely with Logic, and it's one of the most upsetting parts of this particular instrument because it should just lock in and work, and you can just change tracks. But it's a big pain in the arse, to be honest. But that's the downside of using arrangers. I think they purposely draw a line and say, no, we're not doing that because that's for the synths. And this is for arrangers, so you're going to have to suffer. I don't know why they do it, but it's something that they really got to look at, because they're going to effectively make themselves antiquated and unplayable. So you've got to start looking and thinking, well, hang on a minute, this is 2025 and we still have a keyboard that doesn't nicely play with a DAW. So there you go. How many years have you played piano, Lee? None. I never ever had a piano lesson. I'm an organist, so I've just never had a piano lesson in my life. But I did start playing, how many years? 45 years ago. So a long time of practice. Can't even work it out. But yeah, the organ. And this is another thing as well, which I generally find, is organists can play keyboard better than pianists, because organists have a knowledge of bass lines and the chords that work with keyboards. Because, of course, keyboards, many, many years ago when they first came out, were sort of an offshoot of organ. They weren't anything to do with piano, and, of course, Yamaha's Clavinova came out and that side of things. But people who play organ generally are, and being honest, make better keyboard players, because you've got the chording that you would be using normally with your organ. So if you've learnt organ, going from organ to this, absolute breeze. And of course, and people keep saying about the chords. The reason my chords move all over the show is because I'm an organist. So I know what bass I want the keyboard to play because my little finger is kind of always acting as the bass line. So that's my new foot. So in the fingering mode in the keyboard, if I go into split and fingering, I always have fingered on bass as the setting. And that's because when I play the keyboard, whatever note is the furthest away is the note that's always going to play as bass. So if I want an E flat bass, I play E flat with my... It's a hell of a stretch, but I play E flat with my little finger, and then D, and then back to E flat. So my little finger's always moving around doing the bass line that my foot would have been doing all those years ago when I had an organ. And to be brutally honest, if I'm given the choice now between organ and keyboard, I would still go back to an organ. There's something missing all the time when you've only got one keyboard, and the pedals allow you to dictate what bass you're playing. It was just fantastic when Yamaha used to make the Electone. It was one of the best things ever. And of course then Yamaha just decided, after years of teaching children and adults to play the Electone, they just stopped bringing them over. Very, very sad. But the keyboard is here to stay, and it's something that everybody's now grown to love. And I just find this such a nice, relaxing way to play. Because I haven't got to be moving the leg around, and so it is in one way easier, but that just makes you lazy. And we're back to this AI thing again. And, we don't want to be having keyboards that want to play themselves, because that's not a musical instrument. That's one of these DJ deck things that people think they're musicians when they stand out and play records. No. So there you go. Anyway, so Tim Cooper says, yeah, absolutely 100% agree with you about organists and keyboards. Pianists are much more used to playing from music and don't usually learn chords. Yeah, because they have no reason to learn chords. Because you don't play piano when this is, again, something that I see an awful lot. You think, what the hell? And of course, your assumption is that you just play the chords, but pianists do stride pianos, they do rhythmic patterns in the left hand, all that sort of thing. So if you come from organ, you're just going to play the chords, which is what this thing needs. It needs you to play the chord. So as you move through the style, it's following the notes that you would play with if you ever learnt playing the Kenneth Baker books, that's exactly what this thing requires. It's what makes it sound good. Patricia said, thank you very much, Lee. That was very clear instruction. And yes, emotion is definitely important. Thanks again, Lee. You are one. I know, Pat. Keep telling everybody else how wonderful I am. Yeah, right. But no, so going back to Pat's point, if you are a pianist, you can make this sound absolutely wonderful. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I wished there were more thinner, easier to play with styles in this keyboard, which is, as I said to you at the very beginning of the... where's it gone? What did I call it? Bear with me. Chill, there we go. I wish they had more styles that were just very minimal, like this. Chopsticks. No, I don't think we can do that, shall we? So there you go. Have you reviewed the vocal harmony in the Genos 2, and how would you rate it? Shall I be honest? As far as I'm concerned, they could take vocal harmony out of this thing and throw it away. It's a keyboard. It's not a backing machine. But it's in there for entertainers. So I don't sing. I'll never use it. It's never been on. The only thing I use this for is to turn on the microphone to talk to you. I would never sing down it. Having said that, I did do, an awful long time ago, a video that's on YouTube using the vocoder, and that was very good. And that was just for a novelty factor. But in terms of singing, I can't even begin to comment because I don't use it. I'd love to see that gone and other functions for musicians who play being brought in instead of turning this into like a DJ all-in-one, strap it to your back and sing with it. I don't know. Steve's laughing. Yeah, I don't sing, and I wouldn't put you through that pain. You know, it is really quite agonising. So I don't. I really don't. And when I see people singing, in fact, I see an awful lot of videos on YouTube of people singing with Genos, and I think you just turn it off and play. It would sound so much better. Unless you've got the voice like butter, then yeah, don't even go start recording yourself, because it's all down to confidence, I suppose. And I know that some people should shut up, and I know some other people should actually do more. So I suppose if you're having a bit of fun, it's there. So there you go. So that was a long way around saying don't use it, wasn't it? There you go. Asterix Studio. Oh, I've got two pink hands. Hello, Asterix Studio. Is that an indication of something? Are my hands looking a bit red? I don't know. So have anybody got any other questions? Voice like butter. Mine's more like more like dripping. Oh, Tim, bless you. Does that mean it's smooth and pleasant? Is that what you're sort of saying? Ryan Andrew says, thank you, sir, for your feedback. Asterix Studio. Hello, Asterix Studio. Yeah, where are you, Asterix? Michael Hooker says, love your videos on the Genos, and you're awesome watching from West Texas. Oh, wow. I'm in awe. I'd love to go to Texas. I have limited hand use from an injury and use single finger mode to create songs. Well, why not? If you've got, and that's one of the reasons why things like the fingering mode and all that sort of thing are all there to help you. You know, if you don't have to be throwing down handfuls of notes to enjoy this. You can play it with one finger. You can play it with 12, depending on which country you're in. But no, seriously, you can have a lot of fun just doing the most basic thing. The keyboard harmony fills a lot of your notes in if you do. Asterix Studio says, I'm from Croatia. Thanks for question. What question? Have I answered something? Ferenc Doha says, I'm from Germany. Hello, Ferenc. I can't remember how you played the German national anthem, but anyway, so it's nice to have you all on board, and I'm just amazed we're now up to 63 viewers, and considering, I asked you where you are. Well, that's nice to know, and I hope you have. Yeah, it's all right, Asterix. I do have a touch of losing my marbles, so do be patient. Ferenc says hello. Yeah, lots of hellos from all around the world. I find it amazing that a product like Genos 2 can be scattered throughout the world, and this whole thing brings us all together, you know. So the big question everybody wants to know now is somebody going to be trading in a Phantom 07 for a Genos 2? We'll have to find out, won't we? Please, can you play something with Broadway Ballad? Now, where have they put that? Let's have a look, see if I can find it. Broadway Ballad. There we go. So what's this one sound like? Hello, Sweden. that's turning into something that I don't want to be playing that, do I? Otherwise I'll get a copyright. Now, if I just think about what I'm doing here, let's change that one to a string sound. Put that one on there. So that's the Broadway bar. Steve says he's going to be sleeping in the shed, or is he? Does he actually mean the wife is? I don't know. Should we find out? Go on, Steve. Go for it. Get rid of that phantom. That's a great style. Broadway ballad. Was that not off the old Genos as well? One of the things that I do like about this is I think they're all Yamaha put loads of new styles in the Genos too, but they've scattered them like to the wind. So if you're trying to find something and you think, oh, where is it? You can't remember where the damn thing is. See, that's using the character ground, but it's a bit too sort of knees up Mother Brown. Messages. I like that. I'm interested in your opinion because I'm working on a keyboard app. What app for Android or iPhone would be useful to make for Genos? Let's say next to. Not really the place for this, unfortunately, but yeah, I appreciate you watching, but it's not really. We're not sort of doing research into apps. Steve's give us a big thumb up. Can you show the sweet DX7 sounds? Oh, okay. Let's go and have a look. So, are you talking DX7 pianos? Or... there we go. In fact, you immediately only need to do that, don't you? You know immediately what that song is. Changing it for copyright reasons. And that is a stunning sound. You got number 2. James is watching from Mississippi. MISSISSIPPI. Look at that. Hope you enjoyed it, James. David Knightley. Take Twice Nightly. Hi Lee from West Cornwall. Ah, lovely place. Great videos. My last Yamaha was an MC600. MC was that music cartridge that you plugged. Was that MR? Was that music reader? There was two, wasn't there? There was MC and an MR. Until I heard the Genos 2. Been with Roland since. Still have Roland BK9. And Korg PA5X. And now a Genos 2 as well. Both great keyboards. I just don't like the drums in the Roland. It sounds like somebody throwing a bag of spanners down a flight of stairs. They are so heavy. I love the 18900, the old Atelier, but again, it was the drums. The drums were just appalling. So hard. Love that sound, says Steve Castle. Because I'd love to hear you play the actual songs. Well, that's unfortunately because otherwise it gets a copyright sort of, and then they say, well, we can't do anything. You can't put this out. So I've tried in the past. I'll do a normal, just a pre-recorded video and do a few tracks, I think. Hello from Poland. Hello, Poland. How are you? Manuel says, hello. Thanks for masterclass from San Jose, California. What's the weather like in California? I bet it's warm. V Lee says, picked up a Genos 2 thanks to me. I haven't bought you a Genos 2, have I? No, seriously. I'd give everybody a Genos 2 if I could afford it. That's DX2. This is E Piano 3. DX4. It's a bit too plonky for my liking. So that's, and then you've got things like DX Brass and all that sort of stuff. They're all very, I've said this 2 or 3 times, I think I've upset somebody at Yamaha. I don't like FM. I never have. The old Yamaha HS8 sounded, well, people love them. I didn't. I just didn't like the dryness and the flatness of the sound. Certain voices, like the electric piano, you're fine. Because, of course, throw some effects on and some reverb, and you take what sounds like sandpaper, and it becomes very buttery and smooth. But the FM Tines, if you take the effects off that, it's just very plonky. So when I saw that the FM voices had been added to Genos, I haven't even installed the FM pack. I just don't like them. It's not me. I would much prefer to see bigger synth sounds than there are. They're all very pluck. I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? Pluck. But the actual, it's very thin compared to other synthesizers and other voices. I mean, it's very 80s, yeah, I'll give you that. But there you go. FM is best. Marek, get out of my chat room. No, I'm sorry. I just don't get FM. I don't like it. It's just not. I like the sampled stuff that Yamaha do, but when it goes to sort of synthesizer voicing, it's just very thin. Snap can't be doing with it too cold. Oh, John Carter, you can stay in the chat room. In fact, I'm going to make you head of chat now because you've agreed with me. Manuel Hernandez says 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Do you know the way to San Jose? Not really. I've got sat nav. Yeah, I know the one. So I'm just thinking other... one of the things I do want to show you is... This is just I use the tremolo vibes in a lot of the styles that I make. So any of you out there old enough to remember Jim Reeves, that vibraphone is just perfect. If you add a little bit more reverb to it, and I keep saying this, add a bit more reverb. It's just, it's absolutely fantastic. Oh, we got some new messages. MIDI at 2 Nexus or Avenger. I don't know quite what John means by that, but greetings from Germany. How much synth is inside the Genos 2? Can you play songs like Jean-Michel Jarre or Vangelis? Well, that's a good question, actually, because, I mean, the Vangelis stuff is great big wide CS80s and all that sort of sound, but just trying to, let's go to synth pad. Let's have a look, and you can tell me. But I would say that's Vangelis. Crossphase. Big sounds. But unfortunately, there's only a few of those sort of standard of voices because everything else is like this. 80s soft pad's quite nice, actually. Warm VCF. So yeah, there are a few paddy sounds from Vangelis. Sky bells. You could do that sort of thing. Can you please do some guitar strumming on the Genos? Says Ryan. Hang on a minute. Beginning of Wisdom. Is there any way to record or cast Yamaha SX like you've done right now? Not sure what you're on about there, but never mind. Welcome to my world. Man in the Mirror by my... Oh, I'm skipping a whole load of them here. Nexus 5 running on a small Mac, MIDI plonked on the right hand, and then Valkyrie should have... John, you've thought far too much about this. Yeah, you can always have a secondary keyboard to play with this, so you could have another manual. In fact, you could connect an MP32 to your Mac or your computer and fire away as many voices as you want. The only thing you're going to have probably issues with is changing voices. But if you had one just dedicated for one particular voice and then played everything else on the Genos. Oh, right. So back to Ryan. Can you please do some guitar? What am I doing? Right, let's go back in here. So we want the guitar. Now, the new... So you got nylon open, and then you got nylon's neck. I mean, the screen. Can you record the screen? Yeah, you can. You have to buy a special USB to HDMI adapter, which plugs into the USB port on your keyboard, and then that will output the screen. In actual fact, let me just pull up that style that I had earlier called Chill. Where is it? There it is. Let's change the guitar to a concert guitar. If you want to go more for a sort of a picked sort of 12 string, so the thing is, there's so many guitars. Chicken picked. Or you can go into the electric guitar and go and do some of the blues. The thing is, again, there's just so many. Hey up. Beginning of wisdom. Chat GTP said you can't see. This is why you never trust AI. AI. Yeah, you can. You can plug out a USB to VJ adapter at the back of the keyboard, and it will send the video from the keyboard. Never trust Chat GTP. It's right. So there you go. So that, hopefully that's made you happy. I own a Genos and Genos 2. I pray for a full-fledged sequencer. You and me both. I would never leave the board. I know that's something that I would just love. And when you consider, here's one for you. When you consider what the price of this thing was when it came out, it should have had a fully fledged sequencer. It should have certainly much more advanced MIDI multi-pad controls. And I don't know if it's possible, but I would also like to see the styles change from 8 tracks to maybe 12 to give you a little bit more flexibility in terms of adding some extra parts or effects. There's a whole list of stuff that we all want, and Yamaha just, I don't know whether they have a list, but there is a forum in Germany where people can submit ideas, and I kid you not, some of the ones that I see, I just think, wow, we are doomed. Can we please have a blue button instead of a grey one? There's so many people who want great features on this, and sequencer is definitely one. So I absolutely agree with you, Todd. Absolutely. I would never... In fact, if there was a fully fledged sequencer on this, I would probably even go as far as to say I could turn off the computer, because I would never need to re-record again. Brilliantly, I must unfortunately leave your chat now. Thank you again. It's been a blast. When I purchase a Genos 2, I will let you... When you buy a Genos 2, Steve, I'll know, because I'll hear the wife scream from my house. But thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on board. I just hope you come back next time. Don't forget, before you go, click subscribe and hit the bell, because when I go live, you will then be able to sort of know. It'll send a notification, because I don't do this an awful lot anymore. Obviously, because I have so many other things to do. But if you have got a Genos 2, take a look at the Genos Club, which is you just go to patreon.com/Genos Club, and you can, there's style, in fact this particular style's there to download, or will be. So there's 300 odd styles, there's 1300 videos, there's tutorials on all the things that we've probably discussed tonight, including how to set pianos, the effects on the Genos. There's just so much content. So if you are a Genos player, have a look. Do have a look. I'm going to sign off now, because I don't know how long we've been streaming for. How long we've been... I'm just trying to see some sort of screen that tells me. I know the numbers have gone up as the time's gone on. An hour and a quarter. Wow. I could sit and talk about this thing all day because it is just such a smashing bit of kit. And I just hope that you've understood that I'm just sharing my pure enthusiasm for this keyboard. I'm not out to sell you one. Never will be, never want to. However, if you are looking for a serious, great musical instrument, then this, to me, is the only one that ticks the box. Everything in it works, which is, as I said, very rare nowadays, because a lot of keyboards and sort of things out there have bugs. This is solid as a rock. It's a great bit of gear. I highly recommend it. It's the only one I would. And I keep saying this every time I do a stream. If I found that 1 hour, bro, 1 hour. Oh no, I've been here longer than you have. I've been streaming for an hour and a quarter. If I thought there was another keyboard better than this, I would tell you. I would. But there isn't. So don't waste your money on anything else. Buy yourself the best one, and you will never, ever need to change for a while. So all I'm down to do now is to say thank you to everybody who's joined in. Todd, you've been a diamond. And of course Steve with his keyboard, Pat, and in fact everybody. I can't name you all, but I do appreciate the fact that you take time to watch the videos and you always seem to join in, which is just phenomenally good. So thank you so much to Alan, Steve. We've got National Drone Services, who's been a hoot. Patricia, obviously, Steve. We've got Ryan, Tim, Asterix. I'm sorry we weren't able to help you with your research, Asterix, but being brutally honest, I don't know even where I'd begin to think about an app for the Genos. I really don't. Thank you, brother, says Beginning of Wisdom. Well, thank you too, brother. Praise the Lord. And it was you that convinced me to buy one, said Lanzarote. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Hey, Mick Sayers. I've known Mick for a very long time. We've crossed paths for many years, and Mick is a lovely fella. So thank you ever so much to Mick for joining in and being here and watching. If you haven't already, Mick, make sure you have a look at the Genos Club, because you will probably find a lot of stuff in there that you'll enjoy. And that's it. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a drink, settle down for the evening, and wish you all the very, very best. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you hopefully sometime soon. Okay, take care, guys. Everybody, look after yourselves.